a blind piano player, wrestler, long distance runner, and a creative spirit whose talents have taken her to the stage and into galleries and exhibitions across the U.S., are here to tell their story of their unique and incredible journey together. Welcome to the Nancy and Mike Show. Nancy and Mike will engage you with some of the most unimaginable and heartwarming stories of their extraordinary life. So please welcome your hosts, Nancy and Mike.
Hi, my name is Mike Zorek.
And this is Nancy Noble.
We are coming to you live from YouTube in Florida. God inspired. This is the Nancy and Mike Show. Today's date is April 18th, 2026, and this is show number 39.
Yep.
I'm going to start out today on Thursday. A few things on Thursday. One of the worst days of my life. And one, this past Thursday, which is the famous date, Nancy's brother called. He happens to be visiting in Florida now, and he's the one that I'm involved with the college basketball test.
Uh-huh.
Now, he told me that at one time I was in second place
Wow.
out of about 60 people.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And then he was telling me, well, this caused your death. And that's the way he put it.
It sounds like you, doesn't it?
It does sound like me. It wasn't me.
No, I know. But it
But
sounded like your words.
it was my words, but not from me. Who killed Mike Zorek? It was Tennessee.
Yep, I remember.
And
when it happened.
it was Tennessee beating Iowa State. Now, one show I mentioned this, that I was rooting for Virginia to beat Tennessee in a previous round. So apparently, what counts in this contest is who survives to make it to the Final Four.
And
Well,
timing of things.
Iowa State was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I had them winning the whole thing. Now, one question I don't know the answer to is this. If I picked Arizona to lose in the semifinals, they did. Do I get credit for it?
No,
Why not?
I don't know. I'm just guessing.
Part of me says I should get credit for it because I had them losing in the semifinals. The part that says I don't deserve credit is they didn't lose to Iowa State. They lost to Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to ask Bob about that. We're supposed to see him this afternoon.
Yep. Good.
Now, I don't know where I ended up overall, but Tennessee ended my life. And the deal was this. I was very happy. It happened on a Friday. Yeah. And a Sunday. Michigan blew Tennessee off the court. Boy, was I happy. If you're not going to do your job, to hell with you. That was my thing.
Like it.
All right?
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee didn't do their job against Iowa State. So now when they played Michigan, they didn't do their job again, and they went out.
Right.
You know, one thing I love is giving people their own medicine.
I know you do. I've seen that.
It's actually a better name for it is the golden rule.
You're consistent.
But yes, I am. Now, I'm talking about this college basketball. Now, what's happening Bob told me, and he's right about this. You're from Connecticut. Why don't you pick Connecticut? And here was his argument, very good argument. Because Connecticut, when you get to these big tournaments, they overachieve.
Ah,
So I may take him up on that next year. Maybe I'll pick.
some teams joke, but
Yes.
these guys do the opposite.
Yeah, I thought, I wanted to pick Connecticut over Duke,
Mhm.
but Connecticut got beat by like 30 points against St. John's.
Ooh,
So
that'd make you be cautious.
that made me
Yeah.
cautious. That made me jump away from them.
Yep, hot potato.
Yeah. So anyway, and then the Friday,
Mhm.
St. John's got blown off the court by Duke.
Ooh,
So now Duke has to play Connecticut, and
yeah.
you know the rest of the story. Duke lost, and Duke was way ahead.
I bet a lot of people lost a lot with that.
Yeah, because Duke was number one, and by the way, in the middle of the season,
Yeah.
on a Saturday, I saw the game. Duke beat Michigan. Michigan went all the way. Duke was better than Michigan.
To figure these things.
It's hard to figure these things.
Yeah.
Now, where am I going with this stuff?
Oh, last week was your birthday party. That was fun.
Yes, and I will talk about that.
Okay,
But now I'm on the subject at hand
right.
for this show, which is cheating.
Oh,
Now, the hockey playoffs and the NBA playoffs are starting this weekend. Actually, the NBA had their pre-preliminaries, it's called, where you get from 20 down to 16 teams, because 20 is not a full bracket. Now, here's what Lee Hamilton said.
Lee Hacksaw Hamilton.
Yeah, there was a senator named Lee Hamilton. So this is a different guy.
Yeah.
This is what he said. The pre-preliminary tournament, 6 games
Yeah.
it consists of. None of the games were on TV.
Yeah, they were on Amazon.
So what he was saying is, if you're not going to televise these games, you're adding these extra 4 teams, which consist of 6 games, and then nobody gets to see them.
Yeah.
Where is the logic to that?
Not right.
Okay,
Right.
I agree.
Yeah,
I prefer having a 16-team full bracket tournament.
right.
I don't like these pre-preliminaries.
I know you complained about them.
And that's the way it is.
What?
Now, here's the deal. Cheating. We know that the Carolina Hurricanes, the referees cheat for them.
Okay.
We know that the Montreal Canadiens, the referees cheat for them. We know the Colorado Avalanche, the referees cheat for them. And the Florida Panthers, well, we're blessed this year because the Florida Panthers, they had 12 players on the injured list. And that was too much for them to overcome.
So they didn't make it.
So they didn't make it. Now, cheating. We know that Oklahoma City cheats. Now, what are we dealing with these playoffs? These playoffs, especially hockey, are so bad. They're so mismanaged. Their conference, you play your own conference the most times, and then you're stuck with them in the playoffs. Now, I'll tell you what this is equivalent to, because a lot of people played this college basketball tournament. What it's equivalent to is this. It's equivalent to they have a pre-preliminary from 68 to 64 teams. And what it's equivalent to, if you took Michigan and Arizona and played them in the pre-preliminary rounds. This is like the National Hockey League. And the argument is, oh, you're going to get some good games in the first few rounds. But what are you going to do? You're going to get bad games in the last rounds.
And the good should be at the end.
The good should be at the end, not playing each other in the first
I
round.
agree with that.
So I will never
Sum it
watch
up.
Stanley Cup playoffs.
Oh, too bad. I know you love
And it's sad, and I do love hockey, but this commissioner's such an idiot. I can't go along with this kind of bracketing.
Mike has moral principles.
I do, and I draw lines,
Yep.
and I stick to it. And you know what? If I watched it, I would feel guilty as all heck.
Yeah. You have to listen to your
No, you got to
conscience.
listen to your conscience. Let you know, when you say, let your conscience be your guide.
Yes.
Now, the basketball situation, I may listen to the first round,
The NBA?
NBA.
Okay.
Now, what's wrong with basketball? I'm probably the only person on the whole planet that has this scenario. I love the New York Yankees. And I absolutely hate the New York Knickerbockers. Now, what are some reasons why that could exist?
Like the Celtics, I know that.
I like the Celtics, but I don't like the Red Sox. I
Right.
don't like the Red Sox because they're tanking. Now, let's take the New York Knickerbockers. I can't stand them. I hate them. The New York Knickerbockers, I would say at least 60% of their team is from Villanova.
And you like Villanova.
Now, Villanova happens to be
Yeah.
one of the big five from Philadelphia.
And you pay attention to that.
I pay attention to that all year.
I know you
Now,
do.
why didn't the 76ers draft these guys from Villanova? They'd be where the Knicks are now. By the way, my two teams are playing in the first round, which doesn't particularly bother me, but I could think of worse.
Your
I'm
two teams, maybe that you should tell them in case they don't know.
Philadelphia and Boston. They're playing in the first round.
In the NBA.
One thing I do like, I'm glad we don't have to play Orlando. Orlando's dangerous. Detroit's stuck with them, number one.
Okay.
I hope they win. Now, getting into something here. Why do I hate the New York Knicks?
I don't know.
I'll tell you what the reason is. Because they could take both of my teams, whether you're talking about the 76ers or the Celtics. I think the Celtics will advance, but it doesn't matter because New York could beat either one of them
Oh,
blindfolded.
oh, so that's why you don't like them.
That's why I don't like them.
They beat your two favorite teams.
And I don't care if the Yankees go 13-0 against the Red Sox because I don't root for the Red Sox anymore. Now that we're on the subject of cheating,
Uh-huh.
I'm going to tell you something else before Nancy shows up. Now, in December of 1987, I went to New Mexico, and it was a tournament for blind athletes, and they weightlifting. I broke all my records in powerlifting.
Oh, good.
The powerlifting consists of the squat, which I have a terrible time with. I'm just not a good squatter.
Right.
The bench press. What's wrong with the bench press? The bench is so high.
Yeah, and if your feet wiggle. Oh, hey, we'll be right back. We'll please stay tuned. This is the Nancy and Mike Show.
Mike Zorik, a three-time California state champion in Greco-Roman wrestling at 114 pounds. Mike, blind since birth, was born in Hartford, Connecticut. He was a 6-time national placer, including 2 seconds, 2 thirds, and 2 fourths. He also won the Veterans Folk Style Wrestling twice at 152 pounds. In all these tournaments, he was the only blind competitor. Nancy Zorick, a creative spirit whose talents have taken her to the stage and into galleries and exhibitions in several states. Her father, a commercial artist who shared his instruments with his daughter and helped her fine-tune her natural abilities, influenced her decision to follow in his footsteps. Ms. Zorick has enjoyed a fruitful career doing what she loves. Listen Saturday mornings at 12 Eastern for the Nancy and Mike Show for heartwarming stories and interesting talk.
Are you struggling to care for elderly parents or a spouse? Do you wonder if being a caregiver is making you sick? Are you worried about taking time off work to care for elderly parents and balance work, life, and caregiving? Has caregiving become exhausting and emotionally draining? Are you an aging adult who wants to remain independent, but you're not sure how? I'm Pamela D. Wilson. Join me for the Caring Generation radio show for caregivers and aging adults, Wednesday evenings, 6 Pacific, 7 Mountain, 8 Central, and 9 Eastern, where I answer these questions and share tips for managing stress, family relationships, health, well-being, and more. Podcasts and transcripts of The Caring Generation are on my website, PamelaDWilson.com, plus my caregiving library, online caregiver support programs, and programs for corporations interested in supporting working caregivers. Help, hope, and support for caregivers is here on The Caring Generation and PamelaDWilson.com.
Hi, my name is Mike Zorick.
And this is Nancy Noble.
We are coming to you live from YouTube in Florida. Now, I don't know that I think I said God inspired.
You did? I heard it.
No,
Oh, and now you're talking
I was talking about powerlifting.
in New Mexico.
I went to this powerlifting meet in New Mexico, which consists of the squat, which I'm terrible at. I'm the only weightlifter, probably in the whole country, who could bench press more than he could squat.
But I remember one trainer said because you are a runner, that's why people who are runners have a hard time with the squats.
Well, yes, and it's that combination of squatting and long distance running is bad for your knees.
Yeah.
I do remember that. And I've been a long distance runner for so many years. I don't want to exchange for squatting when squatting is something I'll never be any good at.
Right.
Okay. So anyway,
And then you said how your feet wiggle because you have short legs when you go on
so
the bench.
how do they solve that problem? Is the bench is too high. They got to put plates under my feet. Now, if they don't, if your feet move, the bench press is no good.
Right.
I'll never understand that rule because your feet moving doesn't help you lift more or less. It
And
doesn't.
the plates they put under your feet are not that flat. They have ups and downs and stuff. So anyway.
Yeah. So anyway,
that's part of the rules.
now the deadlift, which I don't have a problem with.
Nope.
So here's the deal. I got first place in New Mexico.
Yeah.
And it was when the year I turned 40 years old, 1987.
Mm-hmm.
They have a master's class, 40 to 49 years old. So that was the class that I was in. And I won that age category.
Yeah.
Now, I was getting letters from USA Wrestling. And the first thing I get is a letter telling me when the 1988 Olympic trials are. April 16th, 1988. Well, I hadn't made weight since 1985.
Yeah.
Could I make 114 for the Olympic trials?
And it's always hard for you to make weight.
It's always hard for me to make weight, and I hadn't made weight for 2 years. Now, in the meantime, I get a letter from United States Association of Blind Weightlifters.
Right. The wrestling was not for blind. It was just
The
for
wrestling
open.
was for the regular Olympics.
Yeah.
And the Canadian thing was just for blind.
Right.
And guy calls me up. He's a coach from Missouri. He says, if you want to compete in this tournament in Canada, you got a legitimate chance to be an Olympic champion in powerlifting
For the blind.
for the blind. All right.
Mhm.
I kept going back and forth.
You sure did.
What am I going to choose?
I know.
Why are both these events on the same day of all things?
Day.
And April 16th was a Saturday. So anyway, it's Super Bowl Sunday, 1988. I think Washington and Denver were playing. And the guy from Missouri calls me up. He says, you got to decide today. If you don't, I'm going to have you replaced.
Right? He has to know.
He has to know. He's got to know who's going to show up for this event.
Right.
So I said, okay, I don't know if I could make 114 for the wrestling. I'll go to the weightlifting.
Right.
I went to the weightlifting. We flew to Connecticut. We drove to Ottawa
With your parents.
with my parents. Everything seemed fine. It's cold as all hell. Anyway, we get to Ottawa. It's April 14th. So anyway, the 15th comes, we got a meeting with the people in charge. And the girl is suspicious because my squat is less than my bench press. So then the guy from Missouri, he comes up to me and he says, go up. Go up. I had to be 132. He tells me to go up to the next weight class. And he explained why. There aren't many people in the 40 to 49 age group. So I decide to go up.
Go up a weight class?
Yes. Now here's what happened. The Canadians had a great weightlifter, Masters, 123-pound class. He went up to knock me off.
Oh.
And I couldn't beat him. He could squat 450 pounds.
Yeah.
And you know what? My squat is like 95
I
pounds.
know.
All right?
Yeah.
So even if I was able to beat him at the deadlift and the bench press, I can't make up the deficit
Not
of
on
the
that
squat.
No.
So I decide, okay, I'm going up.
So what's the next weight class?
148.
Okay.
So anyway, it's the 15th of April. We go to Red Lobster.
Aww.
I'm going to eat.
Yeah.
So
Is it good
anyway,
enough?
I come in on the 16th of April. My weight is like 136.
Okay.
There's nobody at 148. There's nobody at 123. There's a Canadian guy at 132. So the meet starts. I make it through the squat.
That's amazing.
And that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. We were nervous.
Put the plates under my feet. I make it through the bench
And his
press.
feet wiggle. That was a hard one.
No, my feet didn't wiggle.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now I got the deadlift. You get 3 attempts at each lift.
Right?
And if you go 0 for 3 with one of the lifts, you're
Yep.
disqualified.
You're out.
Now, But I didn't realize that in order for Canada to win the meet, they had to disqualify 2 of our athletes in the masters class. My first deadlift was perfect. 2 of the 3 judges said it's no good. And you know what? Just like that, I knew what was coming.
You knew you were going to get cheated when you knew that was perfect and they said it was bad?
Yep,
You knew it?
I knew it.
That must have been insight.
So anyway,
I got a great photo. It's in your book. It's perfect.
it is. It's my second lift. I picked up the weight too fast because it was easy for me.
Uh-huh.
And
You wobbled a little?
I wobbled. The lift was no good. Legitimately
Yeah.
no good.
That was.
The third lift, as clean could be. Now, I don't know which one Nancy has in my book, my first one or my third one.
I don't know, but it's a great shot.
I was disqualified.
Yep.
Blatantly cheated out of a world championship.
One of the Canadian judges said it was perfect, but 2 said it wasn't.
But that was determined in advance.
Yep.
And one of our other guy, he was disqualified in the squat. One of the masters guy. So Canada was able to win the meet by disqualifying 2 of our masters guys. I happened to be the second one.
And I tell you, I've known Mike all these years, and I've never seen him so sad. Oof, never. That was the worst.
Well, what happened was usually if I perform terribly or if I lose, I'm very sad for a few days.
But this lasted so long.
This lasted 7
I
weeks.
didn't know what to do to
There was
help
nothing.
you.
There was nothing that could help
I
me.
know.
I didn't care if I lived or died. I didn't care why was I born.
And I don't know how well you know Mike, but Mike is a funny guy. We have a lot of fun together. We laugh, and for that personality not to be here, it was hard.
I tell you, I had tears in my eyes for 7 weeks. Even if they didn't come down,
Ah,
they were there. 7 weeks. I couldn't snap out of it.
yep.
And it affected my training. I had a blind tournament coming up in Indianapolis. I wasn't prepared.
Nope.
In the meantime, one of the girls who questioned my bench press deal,
Uh-huh.
she wrote to me.
Yes, what a sweet
Very
girl.
nice Christian girl.
Uh-huh.
And we were friends for a few years.
Yep.
And but in my book, I have a chapter about it. It's called The Canadian Disaster.
Yep.
And the thing that bothered me besides losing, next year, 1990, this was 88, comes every 2 years,
Hmm.
the weightlifting's in the United States. Are we going to do to Canada what they did to us? I was concerned about that. And so, believe it or not, that disaster in Canada was my final powerlifting meet.
I believe it.
I tried to make weight for 1990, and I'll tell you what happened there. I was on my way to making weight. I was going to go on a diet
Hmm.
so I could be 132. Riverside County, Riverside, California.
Yep.
No problem.
Close to where we lived.
And I was like 140.
Oh, well, we'll find out what happened there in just a couple minutes. This is the Nancy and Mike Show. Stay tuned.
Author, radio show host and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness: Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them, rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies, find settings that allow them to be the most productive, and track their progress towards accomplishing goals. What if there were a super tiny device that could diagnose the brain and is smaller than a single human hair? What if you could see inside the brain to help an epilepsy patient during surgery or to help the fight against Parkinson's disease? Dr. Patricia Broderick is proud to announce the Broderick Probe, a biomedical and electronic breakthrough. Imagine a probe to help with the understanding and potential cure of brain-related diseases. To learn more, listen live to the Easy Sense radio show with host Dr. Broderick. And to help support the Broderick Foundation, please go to EasySense.com and learn how, with your help, we can fight these horrific brain disorders. That's EasySense.com to learn more and help support the Broderick Foundation.
Hi, my name is Mike Zorek.
And this is Nancy Noble.
We are coming to you live from YouTube in Florida. This is the Nancy and Mike show. And what I was talking about was the weightlifting tournament in the United States.
Yep.
I should win it because the judges probably aren't going to cheat me like they did in Canada.
No, of course not.
So I'm thinking I got a shot at winning this world title again.
Yep.
Or for the first time. So anyway, I've got to go on a diet. I'm not down to weight. I got to be 132. Now, the last day, I went to this restaurant and I ordered grilled cheese and bacon, which is one of my favorites.
Yep.
So anyhow, I start eating this sandwich and it's weird. Anyway, I asked Nancy to look at it. She sees onions in it.
And Mike is allergic to onions.
Next day I woke up. I had a serious sore throat. It was like strep throat combined with laryngitis.
I know.
And nothing touched it
No.
for 3 weeks.
I bought some stuff over the counter, just nothing.
And nothing. I tried. My weight actually went up during those 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So anyway, the day of the tournament came. I was overweight. I couldn't make 132. I was like 135. I couldn't get down. And I called the guy who was running the thing. I said, I can't do it. I'm not going to. If I don't make 132, I'm not competing. So that's what happened. I didn't compete. The onions put me out of the tournament.
Yeah.
It wasn't honest. I don't know how it happened. But anyway, that's what happened.
I guess maybe some onions were in with the bacon on the frying grill or something and they scooped it up by mistake. I don't know.
Anyway, my birthday party last week.
Yeah, that was fun.
We invited 18 people.
Okay.
Now, we had an extra person that somebody brought. We didn't know he was coming.
And I'm glad he did.
And I'm glad he did. He turned out to be a big hit of the party.
Mm-hmm.
Now, remember what I told you last week? that in California, if you invite 30 people, that 15 will show up
Yeah.
and the other 15 will stand you up. Well, guess what happened? Invited 18 people, 9 showed up. The rest of them, one guy, her husband, had a bad back,
Yes. And I believe it.
and I believe it.
Ah, jeez.
We had 9 people missing,
But it was just right.
but it was perfect.
Yeah.
We all had. Remember, I said, "Don't worry about who listens to your show. Don't worry about who shows up at your party. Just do your job, and the rest will take care of itself."
Yes. And I told God, I'm leaving it in your hands. And we had enough chairs. And even though almost everybody came at the same time, did you notice that?
I
That's
did notice
unusual.
that, and everybody practically left at the same time. So, and I thought people would come later, but they never did.
And it was amazing when we used to live in California. We had a very small mobile home, and we said anytime after 2, and people staggered perfectly because we didn't have enough chairs or room or anything.
I know. We had people, they're still there at 11 o'clock at night. This last Saturday, by 4 o'clock,
It was
everything
empty.
was gone. It was empty.
I know.
And so that was the deal with the birthday party.
Yeah.
It was great.
And people thought it was really fun.
And
Everyone enjoyed it.
this one girl asked me, she said, "Well, you're 79, maybe you'll make it to 100.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
don't want to make it to 100.
It's in God's hands. Who
The
knows?
way the world is going, I don't want to get to 100, and
Okay.
I'll talk about that next week.
Okay.
And there's another happening that happened April 20th and 21st. I'm going to talk about next week. So anyway, Nancy's going to do her wonderful thing, and I'm sorry I held her up so long, but
I don't have too much. Well, this book I read a lot. It's a quiet time book. We've had it for many years, and I liked it because Mike and we always pray for wisdom. It says in the Bible, if you want wisdom, ask God. So here's this is from James 1:5. If any of you lack wisdom, he should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and will give it to him. James 1:5. So I wrote, wisdom is depth of insight and the ability to discern what is best. And also from James 3:17, it says, the wisdom that comes from heaven is first of all pure, then peace loving, considerate, submissive, full of mercy and good fruits, impartial and sincere. Close quote. So true wisdom will be reflected in behaviors which are about all through the word of God. And then I liked on this page, it says that you also get wisdom. You get it from God and the Bible, and you also get it through other people, mature Christians. And that's what Mike's birthday party was, filled with good quality Christians. We cannot exist in isolation from one another. And that's what we have to learn. We have to stick together and communicate. And then this, the mommy book, I call it. It's one of my favorite scripture is Proverbs 3:5. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. And another favorite of mine is Psalm 46:10. Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth. And this means in moments when our hearts are anxious, this verse reminds us to be still and know that if we only put that practice and rest comfortably and confidently in God, that we will find peace. This is very important. And to find peace is to be still God will give us insights if we're quiet and really seeking Him. He will come and we can hear His insight, right, Mike?
Yep.
We get our little uh-uhs, don't go that way, or the long, strong feeling towards, or just insight that we know this is the right way to discern. The difference between judging and discerning. Discerning is you see it, you know it's the truth. Judging is when you get your emotions up and you start putting somebody down, looking down your nose at someone. That is not what God wants, just to discern without the judgment. That's it. I'm done. But I just want to say thank you to God for the birthday party. I didn't get anxious and everything worked out. And we had fun. That's it.
And today we're going to see Bob and his wife. They're still
Yeah.
in Florida. Bob
Yeah.
is Nancy's brother, the one who does the college basketball stuff with me.
He's very smart.
And he is very smart. And he didn't win either. But one of the things he had a problem with, and I had a problem with it too.
What's that?
We were both high on Illinois, but we weren't sure if Illinois could win in Houston. We thought maybe a neutral court, Illinois could beat Houston, but he was concerned, could we win in Houston? And he's from Chicago. So anyway, as it turned out, I picked Illinois, but I didn't know if they could pull it off in Houston either. And Bob went the other way. He picked Houston, and of course, Houston lost. And he said Thursday, he said, I don't know why I didn't pick Illinois. It's like me with Connecticut, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's these things you don't have long to pick them out.
No, it's time
It's
pressure.
time pressure, and sometimes time pressure makes you make mistakes. But anyway, that was his deal, and we're gonna see him this afternoon. And I know where we're gonna go, in a good fish place.
Mhm.
Me and fish, I love
Yes.
fish. So anyway, I was talking about the weightlifting and how I didn't make weight the second year, and I just quit. I never went back. I never
Mhm.
squatted again. And
We have a weight room even now. A weight room with his weight bench. Before we used to have it in the living room, huh, Mike?
yeah, and I used to have an Olympic bar, but I gave it away because it was too long for
It was huge.
the living room. You know, it was a 45-pound bar, and I used to work out with it, but it was too long for uh, the living room. It would keep hitting the back door, or it would hit. If I brought
Those
it
two chairs.
to the right, it would hit
Yeah.
something else. And I remember one time Nancy had some dolls next to her chair, and I was going to do some pearls.
Some homemade porcelain dolls. They were like 4 feet tall,
Yeah, they were, and
maybe 3 feet.
I took the weight off the bench press, and I brought it down. I almost chopped their heads off,
Yep,
and I,
porcelain.
I did.
Porcelain, homemade.
Thank God I didn't, but it got Nancy nervous
Yes,
because
move them out
I
of that
probably
way.
missed the dolls by less than an inch of chopping their heads off.
I know all the work that.
We both know all the work.
Yeah,
That,
because he used to come to the doll place with me, and
so I
see
know
the
all the
weight.
work she put in making these porcelain dolls, and uh, we got no place for her to make her dolls.
Yeah.
Uh, it's
Well, I'm not selling dolls. I know when my brother comes and sleeps in the guest room, he's concerned about all the dolls staring at him.
yeah, you never know what they're gonna do.
We gotta go. This is the Nancy and Mike show. We'll be right back.
What if you could see inside the brain to help an epilepsy patient during surgery or to help the fight against Parkinson's disease? Dr. Patricia Broderick is proud to announce the Broderick Probe, a biomedical and electronic breakthrough. Imagine a probe to help with the understanding and potential cure of brain-related diseases. To learn more, listen live to the Easy Sense radio show with host Dr. Broderick. And to help support the Broderick Foundation, please go to EasySense.com and learn how, with your help, we can fight these horrific brain disorders. That's EasySense.com to learn more and help support the Broderick Foundation. Mike Zorek, a three-time California state champion in Greco-Roman wrestling at 114 pounds. Mike, blind since birth, was born in Hartford, Connecticut. He was a six-time national placer, including 2 seconds, 2/3, and 2/4. He also won the Veterans Folk-Style Wrestling twice at 152 pounds. In all these tournaments, he was the only blind competitor. Nancy Zorek, a creative spirit whose talents have taken her to the stage and into galleries and exhibitions in several states. Her father, a commercial artist who shared his instruments with his daughter and helped her fine-tune her natural abilities, influenced her decision to follow in his footsteps. Ms. Zorek has enjoyed a fruitful career doing what she loves. Listen Saturday mornings at 12 Eastern for the Nancy and Mike Show for heartwarming stories and interesting talk.
Hi, my name is Mike Zorek.
And this is Nancy Noble.
We are coming to you live, broadcasting from YouTube in Florida. This is the Nancy and Mike Show. And, you know, it's really interesting that I was talking about that I almost chopped the heads of her dolls off. And, you know, I'll tell you, it reminds me of something else
Okay.
that I'm going to talk about. And you know about this.
Okay.
Nancy has a brother named James. Now, we had a friend in California. He looked just like James,
Well, let me tell you,
Nancy's brother.
he sounded like James, my brother. Didn't look like Mike. And they sounded like. See, Mike's blind, so he didn't know.
So anyway, he came over and, you know, he came over a lot. He
Yeah.
was a good guy to have around
He was
because
great.
he was able to fix our beta machine. He was able to fix our VHS machine.
And he knew how to plug in this and that.
He
and
knew
numbers
all
and-
about that stuff. We haven't found anybody to replace him. He was so good at fixing things. And not only that, he was a great guy to
Yeah,
go
it was
along with
fun.
that. A lot of fun. So anyway, his dolls scared Nancy. I mean, scared him. His name was Steve.
For me,
Yeah.
they make him.
Her
was
dolls
afraid.
scared him.
He must have seen a lot of scary movies about dolls. But he was afraid of my doll.
And I remember he said one time I was with him and we were talking about it. He loved good restaurants. And there was this one place by our house. They had great fish and chips, and they gave you a lot of French fries, just the way I liked it. And he liked that place too. But one day when he came over, he was talking about Talkie Tina. Now, Talkie Tina, if you
Watching that on
if,
Twilight
if
Zone.
you don't know, it was a Twilight Zone where this doll was very mischievous and
Not a nice doll.
you couldn't kill it. It was one of these things.
Yeah, people probably seen that one.
No matter what, this doll had the last laugh.
And there are other movies about dolls, but anyway, my dolls are nice.
So anyway, when he'd come to visit us, he thinks he's going to encounter Talkie Tina. And that was, that's what led me to it when I started thinking about doing these curls and almost cutting their heads off.
And
And
the last time he said, "Well, where are the dolls?" I said, "They're all bundled up in the shed outside because we were getting ready to move." So he said, "Okay, I'll come over." That poor
yeah,
little dog all wrapped up in the shed.
yeah, and the poor guy too, because he came over quite often to fix stuff for us. And anyway, he was afraid of Nancy's dolls
Yeah.
and Talkie Tina. I guess he thought she was real. But anyway, that's the story on the adult situation. Now, I don't know how much time I got left, but
About 10 minutes.
I'm going to talk about baseball.
Okay.
I don't think Philadelphia's tanking, but it looks like they are.
Do they have injuries, Mike?
No, not really, but they made a mistake, and it was a huge mistake. Andre Castellanos never, never, never should have given him away. They gave him to San Diego, and all he's doing is hitting home runs for San Diego.
Yeah, I like that
And
guy.
they thought they had a replacement for him.
Oh, but they didn't?
His name is Garcia. Garcia had a couple of really good years for Texas, but this year he can't make contact.
Oh, no. That's what you want.
And
Contact.
and of course, another thing is they lost Ranger Suarez, who was their ace.
A pitcher?
Yeah, he went to Boston, and the first couple of times he pitched for Boston, he got knocked all over the lot.
Oh,
But yesterday, Boston won 1-0 in 10 innings. We saw that. And we turned it on. I said, well, I'm just going to watch this one batter. It was Oshida. And I'm watching that. And anyway, I'm not going to watch anything else. I'm just going to watch this batter. There was Durant. He was on third base and 1 out. And it was 0-0. Lasted a 10th inning. You think if Oshida gets the ball out of the infield, they're going to win the game. And you think the one thing you don't want is a strikeout. Well, Oshida got a base hit to right field. And I said, that's it. See ya. So anyway, and also last night.
And that won the game.
That won the game. I got to listen to the Phoenix Suns on Sirius. Because, these games are not televised.
No, it's
So
rude.
the only way you could listen to them is through Sirius Radio, if you could get it. And I wanted to see who the number 1 seed was going to be. The number 8 seed, I mean. Who's going to play Oklahoma City. They're not going to beat Oklahoma City.
Right.
But anyway, I enjoyed it. I saw the second half of the Phoenix Golden State, and I don't like Golden State. Golden State's done a lot of bad things for basketball. So
we're going to have to wrap it up.
Anyway, that's where we're at, and I think Nancy's telling me to shut up.
And thanks, guys, for listening, and we'll see you next week. This is the Nancy and Mike Show. Take care.
This has been the Nancy and Mike Show. Tune in each week and become part of the conversation of the amazing journey of Nancy and Mike.